Hello, good evening. I'm Bob McMasters, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show for March 8th, 2022. Tonight's special guest is Michael Howe, who will be joining us tonight from Michigan. So please stay with us. This show is going to be a hoot. Can't wait for this one. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited, and I know I say this every week, but we are so excited to be with you tonight. Please give a warm welcome to my co-host, Anna Barry E. Cummins.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be with you tonight. Thank you for being with us and enjoying us, and I'm excited to hear from rainy Alabama.
Well, you know, the weather has been crazy this year, no doubt about it. We was 85 2 days ago, down in the 30s the last couple of days, and we got a chance for freezing precipitation, sleet, and snow on Friday. So, you know, everyone across the country always says, if you don't like the weather, stick around. We're ready for spring. All right, and also say hello to Elf Angela behind the scenes tonight, if you would. All right, so, you know, here we are, season 2 still, week number 9 of the Tuesday Night Live show. I got to say, our guests have been stellar, and we really have learned a lot about improving our portrayal and performance in an industry, that is always hungry for more. Tuesday Night Live is here to help us all become the best we can be for the communities we serve. Tonight's special guest is fun, energetic, and a great example of someone who cares about his portrayal and gives his all to be his best. Barry, you want to tell them about Spangle's promo?
Yeah, absolutely. Spangle's got a promo going on with the School of Santas. You like, share, and comment, done all 3 onto your Facebook page, and your name will be entered into a drawing for a scholarship to the School of Santas. I believe it's a $359 value. And that'll take care of all your schooling, and the hotel room will be on you, but it'll take care of all the schooling. So pretty awesome promo. We got, 4 weeks left of it?
Yes, it runs to the end of the month, and then our drawing will be the first weekend in April. Also remember, comment during the live show in the feed, done all 3 once you've done that, and we greatly appreciate it. Your name goes on the hat for that drawing. Barry?
Absolutely. Everyone first, reach up there, give us a like and share. It helps build the viewership and also the show. And as always, on Tuesday Night Live, we start out with Tuesday Night Live Trivia, and that's sponsored by Sleigh Driver Apparel Company by Derek Dugan. Thank you, Derek. All right, it's movie trivia again. In the movie Elf, lost my place here, sorry about that. In the movie Elf, Santa's sleigh was powered by a jet turbine engine. What was the power of that engine? In the movie Elf, Santa's sleigh was powered by a jet turbine engine. What was the power of that engine? Good luck, everyone.
Now, remember, guys, if you've won in the last 30 days, you're not eligible to win. That's just part of the Tuesday Night Live show. It doesn't concern if you won on the Bob and Barry show. You're eligible over here and vice versa, but you're in a 30-day holding pattern once you won. Also, remember that we will not reveal the winner till tomorrow on Sat Bob's live group. There will be an announcement on there. We've had to start doing that, guys, because of the way the comments come in. We've had quite a bit of lag time. We even noticed last week, 10, 15 minutes after the show was over with, we were getting comments in that were timestamped during the show. So they're getting out there in cyberspace and they're flying around and they get lost for a little bit and then they finally land.
All right. We see a few guesses coming in. Keep them coming in. What was the power of the jet turbine engine on the sleigh and elf?
And we'll be sure and reveal the answer towards the end of the show. That way we won't keep you hanging on that portion of it. Barry?
Absolutely. All right. Tonight's guest joins us from Reed City, Michigan. He has worked with children for over 30 years. He is a retired middle school technology instructor from Reed City area public schools with over 30 years experience in the field of education. He knows and understands the importance of dreams of children and every child's life. Please welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show, Mr. Michael Howe.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Barry. It's great to be with you guys.
Glad to have you.
We are so excited. As I've said, we've been waiting for this show. We just love you. And let's get started with it. As Santa, you have brought smiles and laughter to children and adults of all ages in corporate, community, family, and virtual settings. You had mentioned that in 20 and 21, you did over thousands of virtual visits all around the world. Can you tell us about the different companies that you have worked with and those different types of virtual events? And on top of that, how those watching tonight can benefit by adding virtual visits to fill out their schedule during their season?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry for a second. I got delayed. All of a sudden, there was a ticker tape down there, and I wanted to stand up and look down at the words real quick and say, did he just say hurrah, hurrah to me? Oh, yeah.
We love the ticker tape.
Yeah, in other words, let's see here. Not last season, in other words, 21, but back in 2020, I did 1,000+ virtual visits, and I worked for Hire Santa. And I also worked for Santa's Club. Those were a lot of virtual visits and a lot of recordings virtually with kids there. I also did a lot independently and had some different corporate events. That was the big year where virtuals really took off. I was doing a few virtuals, very small, before COVID hit. Being a computer teacher, for 30 years, doing the green screen and having fun with kids and iPads and all of that type of stuff. That's what I did every day. And so when I decided to push into being Santa, it was just one of those things. It was just there. I've been doing it for a long time, but I love doing the virtual visits, especially that year. I mean, I literally got to go all over the world. I had a company that's based in New York hire me to visit for 2 hours with the kids in New York virtually, but they also have a branch in UK, and I got to go to London for 2 hours. Now, wow. I knew in my head that in London, it's not Santa Claus, so I knew cognitively that it's, but there's something magical when all of a sudden this little kid looks at you and going, "Hello, Father Christmas. I'd like the following things, if I may." And oh my gosh, I just feel like I'm in a British movie kind of thing. I mean, being called Father Christmas and portraying that completely different. It was just so heartwarming, that I loved it. And then went all the way down to Houston, Texas, and did a corporate party for a television station down there. And then having literally 80 people in a Zoom meeting where I'm orchestrating as Santa, visiting with these and playing a game with kids virtually, going, it's a little bit of a technique to manage, 80 kids in a Zoom room, wow. Trying to play a game with them. But you know what? Yeah, mistakes are going to happen, but man, what a magical moment to be able to literally go all over the world. One of my favorite one was literally having a father in Germany and the daughter back here in the States and being able to be Santa together with them virtually. So when you have those types of moments, some of that learning that takes place to be able to make that connection, that's what Santa does. I feel like I'm a grandpa and we connect. And this last season, I was very fortunate to be hired by through Hire Santa, was able to get a contract with Cameo and Coca-Cola. And so literally did over 1,300 Cameo recordings for Coca-Cola that they're giving away and was able to do 2 live stream events for Coca-Cola. And then they also had me do a little bit of ads for some of their warehouses, internal greetings, hello, it's me, Santa. You've been doing a great job there at the Coca-Cola plant. And so that was just a wonderful opportunity. And I really appreciate that, being able to come and do that. And that's just for them. That doesn't include the stuff that I was able to do for myself and with my own clients and using Zoom and connecting and then other companies. So that's just a little bit of Reader's Digest version. I like technology and I like what it can offer to us. And like everything else, there's positive and there's negatives to it, but I tell you what, when you can make a connection with somebody, I'll do it virtually. I always think of the component that if I have my grandchild and I can't see them in person, let's get together in Zoom. I would love to be able to talk to you. So just a little bit. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you brought up a good point about the Father Christmas part. If you're going to be doing Zoom visits and you're going to go to other countries, you've got to be rehearsed and schooled on what they're going to call you. And like you said, that is a great point. Now, can you tell everyone how they can fill in their schedule and maybe some of those bare spots they have with virtual?
My weekends fill up quick. I am already booked for next year on weekends. I have 2 Fridays open. That's it, but all of my Saturdays are booked. All of my Fridays are booked for November and December and even in a lot in October. So the virtual visits, as I watch things come through, I post on my website. I post saying, here are dates that I'm available to do Zoom calls or to make a virtual visits if you would like that. For me, on my website, when you book me for a virtual visit, I also record it and send a certificate of it, certified nice, and send that along with the recording. And then I edit that a little bit and put an intro and an outro on it and put some music, with it. So that way it's a keepsake for them. And that I do that off of my website. But when you work, there's other companies that you work for. My main company is Hire Santa. I can just say, here are the dates that I'm available. And then you just I give them that dates and make available and hopefully they book. There's like anything else. It's not a guarantee when I work with another agency, but I hope that those days fill up. And so I just take dates that I'm free and I give it to them. And then I go, all right, do I get a booking for that date? And then I also use my own personal ones off of my website to be able to book that same time. But my personal visits mainly are for weekends and some Fridays and some Wednesdays I do some personal stuff. But usually Monday and Tuesday and Thursday I do a lot of virtual work.
Very good, Barry. You got anything to follow up on that?
No, that's good information he's putting out there.
Definitely. Okay, so that brings up another point, Michael. With thousands of virtual visits, plus your regular stuff that you just talked about that you do on the weekends and stuff, I know that's got to be a scheduling nightmare. So let's go to the next subject here. You are chief beta tester, subject matter expert for the new CRM. Now, for folks who don't know what CRM is, I believe that's Customer Relationship Manager.
Mm-hmm.
And you have been working with a app called Kringle Tracker.
Oh, yes. Oh, my.
Can you explain to us what this app really is and how it will help manage our Santa businesses?
Well, I hope that I'm able to do it justice. This is the brain gift, the gift to Santa's from Santa Roger Minton. And I tell you what, we'll talk about being in Michigan again, but my brother is so gifted. I would classify him as a genius almost, he makes his living at software development. And so as we started talking about things, and, there's always something that you miss, a telephone call or getting client information or, and I say it every year that, what, I'm not going to mess up this invoice this year. I'm going to be able to keep them all tracked. And so I use this software for a spreadsheet to keep track of expenses. And I use this over here. And I've got all of these different software packages and buying a hand and printing it out and putting a 3-ring binder, and to be able to take it with me so I don't drop the ball, in other words, calendar and scheduling and writing things down, client management, keeping track of simple addresses and where am I supposed to be at what time, and then back, like I said before, the invoicement and selling out invoices and collecting that money. Now, this is all the business end, contracts and agreement, that we put out. And even if I'm going to do something for no charge, I still like to send them an agreement so that they have an idea of my needs coming to their house or coming to a party or a hospital or whatever, so they know certain things about my expectations. And then even though there's no money involved, I still send out an agreement form so that we can communicate back and forth, because good communication means I'm not going to make a mistake and someone's not going to have their feelings hurt or whatever. I'm at least trying to minimize that as possible. And then reporting, it's one of those taxes time. Ooh, I know. And so how do I generate all the reports and everything that I need? Well, Kringle Tracker is going to focus on the technology and do all of those things in one easy place, so that way you can focus on the magic of being Santa, and having it all housed at one spot. And so one of the things that I love about working with Roger and advising and saying, here's my needs and here's my flow and how I get that, he's working all of this out, I should say, along with 2 other programmers. So this isn't just one guy. This is 3 guys that are programming and entertainers that are meeting the need of Santas, that I believe is a major need. So if I can have any kind of help to be able to keep track of those things for me, and I can focus on my stories and creating magical moments, then I say amen. And I'm very, very thankful. If everything goes well, Kringle Tracker will be up and running July 1st. So we're hoping to have all the beta testing done, working out as many bugs as possible. And, when the software comes out, one of the things that I love about Roger's heart is Roger will always say, well, you know what? We may not be able to have that right away, but I'm telling you, this is what we will do. It's not, if we're going to have it, it's when. And so it's one of those, he wants to meet the needs of Santas and updates and making sure that he's staying on top of this. So that way it's constantly meeting the needs of where we're at, so we can focus on our craft of being a magical, wonderful Santa. And then he'll help us with all of the business stuff that we can get bogged down a little bit with. Because there's a balance in it. It's one of those, like I said, keeping track of clients, even though I may not be making any money from them, or I'm giving it pro bono and just coming to me in magical, but I still want to communicate, and I don't want to fail in my communication with them, and he'll help with all of that. And so I'm just can't wait to see this, and very, very thankful for what he's doing for our community.
Gosh, you got me all excited now. I'm ready to see this thing roll out. That's, I think, one of the biggest nightmares we all have is, like you say, the juggling and the communication. And you're right about contracts. Even if you are, just doing it, like you say, pro bono, it still shows the client what you expect them to do or have, as far as, chair or whatever, and vice versa, what you're going to give them and what you're going to do. Those are great ideas.
Yeah, excellent. So if you're interested, if you go to kringletracker.com, there's Randy, you wrote it down right there. If you go there, there's a spot where you can put your email address in, and Roger will, like I said, he'll communicate with you. You'll get all updates, and this is what we're doing, and he'll be able to present that to you, and you'll be right there in the front of the pile. And so please go out to kringletracker.com, enter your email address to get that newsletter, and we'll keep you in touch as much as we possibly can.
Gosh, I hope we don't all crash the system, because we're all going to jump in there and get that done real quick.
All right. If your last name starts with A to M, you get to go right now. Now, all you N's to P's, you're going to have to wait just a little bit, and everyone else, give it at least 5 minutes. There you go.
You go.
Well, Michael, we know you also sit on the board of MAPS. That's the Michigan Association of Professional Santas. You've helped shape the future of the organization. Tell us how MAPS has made it a priority in making your gatherings educational.
Oh, I tell you what, I love my brothers at MAPS. I tell you what, I feel a little teary-eyed. I know that I would not be who I am without them. It's it's amazing. Our brains, when you learn in education, and you start to study how people think and it all without going into a lot of details, our brains can process so much information and can work so hard and keep doing it. But there's an important part of it. The important part about your brain working for in a very, very long time, working extremely hard, is it has to be with somebody. It can't do it on its own. If we're on our own, we become passive and we daydream and we work hard. I'm not saying we don't work hard, but the longevity of working really hard and pressing in, we do it a whole lot better if we're with somebody else. So literally, we love to say we're better together because we're working hard towards the achievement of the same goal. The purpose of our organization is just that. We know that being better, we're together. And so we just get together to share our ideas, to sharpen, as iron sharpens iron. We believe that, and we get together and we do that. So we get together for lunches, for education. We have the first weekend in August, we will have the Red Suit Conclave. And I also teach at Charles W. Howard. I've had the privilege of teaching with my Santa brother, Kringle, Michael Brewer, and we've teach being a virtual Santa, for the Charles W. Howard. We've had the privilege of that, and hopefully we get to do it again this year. And but like anything else, well, that's another whole topic. But so we get together and we teach that. So that first weekend in August, we have what's known as the Red Suit Conclave. And you know what? We don't charge a penny for it. We literally have this 2-day wonderful conference where you get together. It's a school, but all of people on the board and different people, we've even had people outside of our organization come and be a part of it with us. And we share all of the different things about, marketing and being a new Santa and doing ad lib and improv sessions and Randy teaching magic, and creating props. We literally get together and we share that. We don't charge for that. So if anyone's listening and you want to come to Michigan, to Saginaw, Michigan, for the Red Suit Conclave, come, please be a part of the brotherhood there. We're completely open. We love just to get together and sharing that information, because we know that, a Santa, when a child sees me, it's Santa. And so the experience and the way I present Santa to them, and if they walk away and they have a positive experience and they're in love with Santa, they may come see you, Bob. And then when they see you, guess what? They don't look at you as Santa Bob, or Santa Barry. You're Santa. You're the exact same as me. So if I do my best, I've just made you your best too. And so by sharing with one another and working together, we can make sure we're consistent. We raise up the bar and learning labs and sharing with one another's. And so like I said, as iron sharpens iron, it's not trying to keep. Santa doesn't keep things to himself. We want to multiply and give it away, because it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be an awesome Santa.
Absolutely, Ned. Have y'all had any chapters from across the country or anything contact y'all how to set up something sort of like what you do with mounts?
No, we've never had anybody necessarily, call us and say, hey, you know what we do? We're open to that. We're open to share any information and knowledge that we have and what we do. But, I don't necessarily think that we really organize anything different than the way the Texas Santas would organize it, or Ohio Santas. I don't necessarily think it's anything magical in our management. The magic happens when I prefer my brother and I try to be a servant to him and say, let me help you be better. And it's not about me, but it's about you. So if I can share anything with you, Barry, or share anything with you, Bob, and I can help you be a better Santa, please let me give that to you, because in return, you know what? You can never outgive joy. By giving joy, guess what happens? You get joy back. It's like a good farmer. If I plant a corn seed, I get corn back. So if I plant love and sharing and giving and joy and caring, oh my, guess what I get in return? Oh, isn't it wonderful? And that's all about Santa, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's wonderful advice. Now, Michael's a Santa performer. Who did you look to when you first started out? And do
Oh.
you have any mentors or anyone you tried to emulate or build your Santa persona after?
I love reading and going to classes with Stephen Gillum. I love Santaology 101. I love Steve as a performer. My mentor is Lee Andrews. I absolutely love Lee. He's also a clown in a Santa. I love his energy. I love his performance when he gets up and he's creating an environment of Christmas spirit. I love watching how he interacts with the kids and draws them into that environment. And I really try to emulate a lot of that. I sat at the Great Wolf Lodge. And one of the things that I love about being at the Great Wolf Lodge here in Michigan is it's almost like a mini Disneyland. I get to do a lot of different types of things that if I was just sitting in a mall, I wouldn't necessarily get. In other words, so I get to sit and listen to the wishes and the dreams of children and participate them on a one-to-one level. And then I get to do story time twice a night, and they hire me for 4 hours for the evening. And so I literally then get to get on stage where hundreds of people are setting out, in their pajamas. They have them all come to the pajamas and they're setting out in the lodge, big area, which is awesome. And they have snow machines that I can make the snow fall. Wouldn't it be awesome when you're inside a building, you can click your fingers and the snow falls? That's another magical story. But so I get them to present to them. I get to tell them about the North Pole. And so that's where all of the things that I learned from Lee and stories and things from Stephen Gillum that I work on that craft of integrate with a large audience. But, working as a teacher, for over 30 years in education, I would do that every hour. I think for me, being an educator literally it helped me be a phenomenal Santa, at least in my mind, because I greeted kids at their door every day. I listened to them and what they liked and played video games with them because I was a middle school teacher. So I did 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and by listening to them and participating with them and seeing how they think and how they feel and how they process information, it's you. So I love that. I'll throw this out a little bit on the teacher side with me. When our brains code information, if something negative takes place in my classroom or someone says something negative to you, your brain will decode that in 3 seconds. In other words, and they'll store it. So in other words, it's like a defense mechanism. We're so fearfully and wonderfully made. It's like, ooh, that hurt. That was dangerous. So your brain processes that in 3 seconds. But if I tell you how wonderful you are, Bob, and I tell you, Barry, how thankful I am for you, that positive message that I just gave to you, your brain needs 60 to 90 seconds to decode that and store it. Think of that. 3 seconds for something negative, 60 seconds, 90 seconds for something positive. No wonder we have to keep telling children, I love you. You are the most special thing in the world to me. And when I'm visiting with kids, having that knowledge, I'll literally go, you're on the nice list. And they'll look at you. Can you say that for me? What? And I go, yes, repeat it. We say, I'm on Santa's nice list. And I'll literally, if I feel like a kid is downtrodden or you can just sense it sometimes, right? I'll have them repeat those positive phrases to me because I know they need more time to hear the positive in them. And I want them to walk away knowing that Santa loves them and Santa cares for them. But I also know that takes time for their brains to process it because that 3 seconds eats it up like crazy.
Very good. So you had mentioned that you're at the Great Wolf Lodge in Michigan, and you are a storyteller, and you showcase that for hundreds of guests at the resort during the Christmas season. Can you share with our viewers your approach to storytelling? And when I say that, I mean how you've made that a successful part of your presentation, and what kind of stories are we talking about?
Well, one of the things as an educator that I wish that I did better at. So for me, learning to be a good storyteller, how I approach it, all of the stories I want to make sure that whatever I tell is based on character and value education. In other words, I'm saying these are stories like I love Stephen Gillam's The Mother of All Diamonds. It teaches this patience to the kids, and I'm telling this wonderful story. In other words, turning coal into diamonds, and it takes time, and there's pressure involved with it. But and then I'll wrap it up just that I've learned from Steve. You're just like that diamond. That piece of coal, feeling this pressure, and it's not easy, but if you give it time, be patient, you're turning into a wonderful diamond. So what a great message. So everything that I talk about, or the stories that I tell about from the North Pole, I always try to push in and gear toward character and value educations. So whatever my punchline is, or however I get that. So how I deliver it, and working on storytelling, at MAPS, we're going over a book by John Walsh called The Art of Storytelling. I absolutely love it. And it's a simple read. We get together and we talk about it chapter by chapter, and we work on that skill. So one of the ways I approach it, going, if I have a new story or something that I would like to tell or that I've written, then we get together as a group and we say, here's my new story, and we tell it to each other, and then we sharpen it. My brother Michael Brewer just wrote a phenomenal story about some new props that we want to introduce into our show, and so I read it, gave him some suggestions, and then we give it to somebody else, and someone read it and gave us some suggestions, and then it slowly turns into, so just like a fine stew, we boil it down, and so the broth becomes thick and rich and full of flavor, and we get to that by practicing with one another. I hope that answers your question. I mean, I approach it like I did in my classroom. I learned the content, and then I learned to make it my own. So that way, every story, the way you would tell a story the night before Christmas, then you would do it. In other words, one of the things that I find in my story time, and I hope I'll hit this and see if you can hear it. Can you hear that music?
Barely.
All right. So, good. It's perfect. So in other words, I'll add this going, do you like a story? Oh, I love a story. Oh, yes, I do. My friend Clement Seymour. Oh, what a wonderful friend. He wrote a story, 'twas the night before Christmas. Would you like to hear it? Oh, I knew you would. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, oh, not even the mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care. But, so adding music just like that, oh my gosh, I just elevated that story and that telling. I went from here, and I went to here. So telling the story, the words are the foundation. But if I can dress it up with a little bit of music, I can change the whole pace and the rhythm and the feel of it. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, that just gave that so much more depth. That is amazing.
And so that's for me. I attack, and these are things that I'm learning with Lee. How do I add this music? Just a little bit. It doesn't take a lot, but the foundation is still my voice, still my inflection, still how I communicate with it. But learning to add some of these smaller components. Oh my, what a wonderful thing!
That's something that everyone should jot down right now. The word infliction. That is a great tool that Michael uses, and that's one of the things I love most about you guys.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so let's move along. Let's take a little short breather right here because it's that time in the Tuesday Night Live show to take a break for special product announcements. So stay with us, and we're going to do this real quick. Beep, beep, stop the show. It's time for the Tuesday Night Live Showstopper special. And we are fortunate that Spangle has made his trip through the Southeast and made it back home. So he will be with us tonight. So let's go out to the head clown at large and in charge, Spangle the clown. Hey, Spangle.
Hey, everybody. I thought I was the second in charge.
You are, and Daisy May knows that, and
Yes.
you're
Hey.
correct.
This week's special, we've been getting some good response on our new series of buckles. This week, we're going to go with the gold snowflake buckle.
Well,
Black
thank-
background, gold inlaid, gold around the sides, real pretty. Fits up to a 4-inch belt. Very nice. Very popular buckle. These sell for $50 on our website plus $9 shipping. We're going to give it to you, the Sat Bob's group, for $30 to your door in the United States. Beautiful buckle.
That is a beautiful buckle, and of course that offer expires March 14th, which is next Monday. So get out there, get your name on one of those. That's a heck
And
of a
no promises, but this may help keep you cooler with that snowflake. So we'll see. I hope everybody's been liking and sharing and commenting to get in that drawing for the School of Santa scholarship.
Well,
Let's all get you in there. The more, the merrier.
let me grab my list, and I'll just show you how many we have real quick if I can find it here. And of course, I'm not going to be able to. I got a ton of stuff here on my computer. Okay, well, here it is. So I don't know if you can see that or not. That's a full page. Yeah, not going to show up too much light, but it's a full page of names. It goes all the way down to right here. So everyone
Think
has.
Dave all liked and shared it today and commented?
No, that was the past 2 weeks, and
Okay.
we'll calculate tonight's after the show is over. We'll go back through the comments and add whoever has added their name in for tonight. So
Okay. Hey, we've been getting some people asking about this. It's the Night Before Christmas Magic book. And it's on our website. You can go there, stuffforsanta.com. Really cool. Just kind of almost, some say it's a little boring because all it's got is words. Well, if the children have the Christmas spirit, they can make it much more exciting by throwing a little bit of their spirit at the book. And then, of course, then they have the exciting colored version of the book. But if old dad's over there in the corner and he throws his Christmas spirit at the book, well, there's just not a whole lot there. And the way it's done is the top of the book will give you the words. The middle of the book will give you the colored version. And the bottom of the book will give you the blank. It's just kind of hard to do it this angle right here. Now, you can find these on our website. They're $40. But look, there's a magic trick to do with this also.
yeah, what about
Some
little
of the-
John?
Some of the children think they know how this trick is done.
There you go.
So you can buy the blank version on our website also. That way, when they tell you how it's done, and you put this in your book, in your bag, or wherever you put it, then you pull out the other one, and no matter where they do it, it's all blank. Well, I'll tell you what, this shuts up little Johnny.
Yes, it will.
Hey, anyways, these
There's
two books,
Proud.
there's a blank version, there's a printed version. They're on our website, stuffforsanta.com. People were asking, how does that work? Can we show something on the Sat Bob show? There you go.
Yes, Bruce. Bruce mentioned that last week and talked about how excited he is to use that in his presentation, and he referred everyone to come see you on that one. Thank you so much for demonstrating that. And man, that buckle is absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
This could be yours.
That's right. So everyone reach out and get one while the supply lasts. All right, let's move along to this.
You are watching the Tuesday Night Live show with Bob Berry and Angela. Sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need to support your Santa and Mrs. Claus business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, it doesn't exist. So contact Spangle at StuffForSanta.com today. Now back to the show.
just a programming note. I know that a lot of folks can't see the flag that Spangle has on his little car there in that ad, but it says if Spangle doesn't have it or don't have it, it's because Daisy May won't let him have it.
Boy, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of truth in that.
Yes, there
Yeah,
is.
there's a whole lot of truth in that.
Let's get
Here she comes. See what you did? You started something.
I'm the one in control.
And we all know how that works. Or those of us who have wives, we know exactly how that works.
Anyways, this buckle that we've been advertising that you can be yours for $30 a day, for one of you, it could be yours for nothing. Absolutely zilch. And the big question is, in a Home Alone, what name do the two robbers give themselves?
Ooh.
And it's not Dumb and Dumber.
Hey, but that would have been fitting because they couldn't seem to do anything right. I mean,
That's right.
Right?
Kevin out tricked them and at every turn.
In Home Alone, what name do the two robbers give themselves? This could be yours, and they'll announce it tomorrow on the Sat Bob's Live page.
Correct. We'll put up a banner that has the winner on there congratulating you. So drop in sometimes to see if your answer is the winning answer and if you are the recipient of that beautiful buckle. Spangle?
Let's get right into the next section of the show here. You mentioned that you wanted to talk about creating a personal mission statement for yourself, asking the question, who are you, Santa? At this time, we're going to turn the floor over to you so you can cover this segment in depth. To start off with, tell us about your mission statement that you've created for yourself and your plumb line for things you do as Santa.
All right, awesome. Thank you. I love how Stephen Gillum starts, a story time when he's with children. He just goes, "Who am I?" And kids will go, "Santa." And what do I do? And the children will say different things, what Santa does. And then he goes, and how do I do that? Those three statements, those three questions, you can do a plethora of stories off of that. And so that's learning and developing who Santa is. And we work on that trade. We have lots of time where we spend reflecting and learning our story, learning our backstory and working it. But I took it towards me too. Who am I? Who am I doing Santa? And so I literally went away, for like 3 days and just spent time thinking and writing things down. What would be my mission statement? How do I present Santa? What does different things of Christmas mean to me? And so I literally then wrote down a mission statement for myself. So when I get busy, and that's an understatement, a lot of times of the things that I love to do and putting my hand to stuff, that I can pull that back out at the end of the year, or even sometimes, a lot of times in the middle of the year, and I remind myself of what my heart said to me. I can't help it but to talk about my relationship with God in this component. And this is just for me, and so I'm not forcing it, anybody saying you have to do it this way or whatever. The issue is getting alone and listening to your heart. And if I'm going to listen to my heart, I have to listen to what Jesus is telling me too. And so literally my personal mission statement is seeking to put God's love in action, opening hearts and minds to the awe and the wonder of the spirit of Christmas. Now realize the mission statement is broad and big. So then I started working on my eye and said, all right, what is God's love in action? And to me, that's listening and serving. That's why I serve on maps, is because you know what? I'm better together. I want to serve my brothers there. I want to help them out. And listening, my wife tells me I need to work a little bit on that more, but it's there. So in other words, it's listening and serving not only to spiritual, but it's also to physical and emotional needs and things that are around with me. And then demonstrating the fruits of the spirit, love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control. One of the things that I love about that scripture is that it's the fruit of the Spirit. It's not, it's singular. It's one. In other words, I personally believe for me that when I need love and peace and patience, that I can draw on that it's mine. It's from the fruit of the Spirit. It's there. It's for me. So whatever I need, God's going to help me present that need, as I'm doing Sansa and more, just being me. And so then I go, all right, let me define what the spirit of Christmas is for me. So I wrote down for me that the spirit of Christmas is the beginning. It's a seed being planted into one's soul. It's opening the heart to the awe and the wonder of God's love and grace. For me, that component of Christmas, it's the beginning of love. It's the beginning of peace. It's the beginning. I'm an icon as Santa of going, we can live better one another. We can be more kind. We can be more loving. We can be more giving. We can be more charitable. We can reach out. Christmas has that component for me with that. And so I want to portray that to the best of the possibility. So that's the spirit of Christmas with me. And then Easter for me fulfills it. So it's like, it's the whole package. It's the beginning into the end. But so when I write that down, I take that time to reflect on who I am and what motivates me. And for me, what motivates me is the love of God for being Santa. It's a major motivation part for me. It's not preaching about it, but it's just me being, how do I say, religion can burn me, you know what I mean? But having a relationship with God and being Santa in that relationship, because I feel called from him to be this. It's a relationship, just like with my wife. In other words, there's days that I absolutely love her to pieces. I mean, it's the best gift that I've ever received in my entire life. And then there's other days that we'll just say I'm frustrated. And so I feel like my relationship with God is the same way. It's a relationship. In other words, there's days that I'm frustrated. There's days that I absolutely love him. But because it's a relationship, I'm committed to that relationship and working things out, and then being able to be raw and open with him. And you know what? He loves me so much that he gives me different things, like this. I feel like what I wrote down for those components are a gift from God, because they help me to focus on why I'm Santa. And then I get to go back to the same Santa and be the best Santa in the backstory and go, who am I? Oh, that's right, I'm Santa. And then be able to present that with all of those demonstrations of the fruits of the Spirit with it. So I hope that answers it. Now, I'm not saying this is something that everyone has to do. You know what I mean? It's just, it's for me. I need to write something down because guess what? I get so hyper, I forget. And if I make a note, if my wife wants me to go to the grocery store, please write it down, honey, because I'm going to get there and I'm going to start talking to somebody and I'll literally forget. So I write things down so I can look at them and remind myself, yeah, this is really what's important. It's that love, it's that joy, it's that peace, it's that kindness, it's that gentleness, and bringing awe and wonder. Awe and wonder means you see something and you just go, oh my gosh, did you just see that? Right? And that's what I want to be in Santa. I want to present so much love and so much grace and so much, in a sense, energy that people just going, that's phenomenal. And that it's a magnet. And then I can draw them in to this awesomeness of Christmas in the spirit of Christmas.
Yep. One of the things that you are talking about that brings to mind to me is unconditional love. You have unconditional love for Jesus. Jesus has unconditional love for you. The same for you and your wife, and the same for yourself. You have to unconditionally love yourself, and be able to have that relationship with yourself, not only with your maker and also your mate.
Yes. Oh, so it's one of those, I get so excited, because I know that if I evaluate me, just like I know that if you, Bob, look at yourself, and Barry, you look at yourself and you're going, it doesn't mean we're perfect, we make mistakes. I mean, it's just like, we make mistakes. But, if my heart is constantly pressing in going, what can I be the best Santa that I can be? How can I demonstrate that? I tell you what, the pressure that's happening to us nowadays, all of the things and the way change is so rapidly, exponentially changing around us. Us being Santa is a small icon of consistency, right? In other words, when I walk into a store, you can't walk into a store and look like this, even if I have all blue on, right? Without a red cardigan kind of sweater. You walk in there and all of a sudden someone looks at you and they smile. You're going, I wonder what memory I just brought back for them. And it's a good one because they're smiling. Their countenance just changed. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be Santa when you can walk into a room, not say a word, and you make somebody happy?
That is so true. So true. Barry, you got anything to add to that?
No, great point.
Okay, very good.
Content.
I'll tell you that, Linda Blair in The Exorcist, how her head spins. That's the way now. It's just going round and round. All right, bro. So at this point in your Santa career, which has been a great journey for you, what is next for Santa Michael? Is there something more on your bucket list?
Well, if a bucket list, I don't know if I would say I have a bucket list. If I have any bucket list, I love presenting with my Kringle brother, Michael Brewer. What a gift to me. I am so thankful for him. I mean, he says, Howe, you're my mentor. You know what? But he's also one of my mentors. And I've never said that to him. So if you're listening, Michael, you are, and yes, and I'm teaching him, but you know what? There's things in his creativity and his energy. Oh man, I learned so much from my brother. I love being a part with him and with Roger. I mean, the list goes on, and Bruce and Randy, and I mean, all of them. And so if I have a bucket list, it's to be able to give them and serve them more, and to love my brothers into being a Santa that not only reaches their small neighborhoods but expands out for this love and joy and the spirit of Christmas, and reminding people of love and grace, and that we can be better than what we're doing right now, and we have that chance. So if I have a bucket list, it's to be that. It's to be that reminder that we can be better than what we're acting like right now. And we have that opportunity. So I know that that's not necessarily like a real cognitive structured list that I can demonstrate with it, like make so much money or do this or do that. But that's really where my heart is at, is to keep serving and to keep loving and to keep learning from my brothers and my sisters around me.
Michael, what's your favorite type of visit out of all of them that you do, and what do you do to prepare to help make that special?
Oh my, that's like asking me, what's your favorite child? What's your favorite reindeer, Barry? The answer is guess what? I love them all the same. Now they're each different and each one has a uniqueness to it. In other words, being the virtual, I can add components to a virtual visit that I can't do in person. I can use my thumb tip, and grab my thumb tip and go like this and throw it in the jar because it's fairy dust that got out of the jar. And I can light the jar up, right? So in other words, that's something that I necessarily can't do, in person extremely well. So there's components like adding music and having flying letters come through the virtual visits that I love. In person, doing the stories and that interaction. There's something about interacting with the kids. I absolutely love that. But I love going to home, and I love the short visit and sitting there and the kids coming around and I feel like a grandpa, and sharing with them and listening to them and be able to spend more personal time with them. So each component of a visit, they're all the same. I love them all equally, just for small, slightly different reasons.
Very good advice.
Yeah, so I would, if you wanted advice with that, what you love the best, I just say you be you, you be the best Santa you can be, and love each component and work on it. Just like if I have one grandchild that loves baseball, guess what? I'm going to learn to love baseball. And if I have another one that loves football or basketball or, lacrosse or whatever, guess what? That's one of my new favorite sports. And it's not because of the sport, but it's, guess what? It's to be with them. So every component, it's to be with a child. It's to be with them and create that moment. So I love them. I love them all.
That was a perfect answer. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. So moving on to the next question. We have a wide range of experience in the Santa community. What words of advice would you share with a young, upcoming Santa just starting out? And for us that have been performing for a while, what advice can you give us?
Oh, I would say be patient. Patience, what a gift patience is. That you'll learn it. Find someone to be with, find someone to talk to and to join with and start to share your stories. And when you're frustrated or you have a bad day, but be patient. All of the wonder of Santa, all of the things that you like about being Santa, the reason that drew you to be Santa, even the cookie zone in the middle, they're all there. It's like a seed being planted, and you need to be patient. But if, just like the farmer waits for that harvest, you will receive a great reward, and you will be amazed at the bounty of the fruit that you'll receive if you're patient.
Great.
I'm sorry, Barry. I was just going to say that makes me think about before the show, we were back in the green room and Spangle brought out the cookies. Your favorite cookie, Michael?
Oh my! I'm going to answer it like a child asked that to me. Oh, my favorite cookie, you ask? Well, there's chocolate chip and there's pistachio almond. Oh, there's oatmeal raisin, just to mention a few. There's snickerdoodles. I love to say that word. But if you're asking me what my favorite cookie is because you want to know what to leave for me, then whatever you leave will make me pleased because that cookie's from you.
Love that. Absolutely. All right, Barry, I didn't mean to step on you.
Well, that's okay. Now, the part of the show where we asked our viewers if you have any questions or comments, now's the time to put them in there for Michael.
Yes.
And if you're watching the replay, put those comments in, and then we'll do our best to forward them to Michael and get that answered for you.
All right, I'm waiting. Do I get to see it on the ticker tape thingy?
Yeah.
It'll pop up.
Angela, Mike, we'll put those up.
All right.
There's been some great comments along the way. I don't know if you've been able to read them all or not, but gosh, what a guest! We're just this is so good. I'm just like a little child on Christmas morning.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it. I wanted to reach up and just look down. Your favorite story to tell? Oh my, Roger. My favorite story to tell is the one that meets the need for the moment. In other words, every story that you have to tell meets a different need. And so you have to be able to read the audience or read the child or where they're at. So if I feel like the child could be downtrodden or a little bit depressed, then the story I want to tell is something uplifting. And so whatever I'm sensing for the moment, as I learn to read that audience, that's my favorite story. And anything that I'm putting my hand to at the moment, guess what? Is just like, that's my favorite. Just back to the grandkids thing. You know what? You're my favorite grandchild because we're together. And then when I get to be with Susie next week, guess what? She'll be my favorite then too, just like you. And so that's my favorite story. It's the one that meets the need at that moment.
Yes. When will Kringle U begin offerings?
Oh, we're hoping that after that's kringletracker.com. So it's a piece of software to help you in the business side of Santa to relieve all that pressure. Right. So go to kringletracker.com to sign up on the mail list, but it's not a school. It's literally a piece of software to help eliminate all of the hair pulling out. And you can tell that I've pulled a few out, right? And so I'm excited to get this piece of software to help me on the side of the business so I can focus on the magic with children.
Love that. Scott Parker says, love your Santa behind the letterbox. He has one of those also.
Oh, fun. Good. I love them. It was a gift.
Sound of mail.
Oh, my favorite Christmas memory. Well, I'm going to go back all the way to as a child, give you my favorite Christmas memory. I grew up very poor. I had a little 4-room shack that we lived in, outside water, outside toilet, right in the winter here in Michigan. That's a cold one, just to let you know. And so things didn't stay that way and change. But because of that, I'm 25% Dutch. And so we would have banket. We would make banket every year. That was a Christmas tradition. And pickled herring, because of my Dutch heritage, was one Christmas. My grandmother gave me a small little jar of pickled herring. And the words was this, Michael, you don't have to share that with anybody. Because it was, when you're a small family and there's not a lot of money, everything's open territory and everything's shared for the community, right? And it's not a bad thing, but it was just what a memory to think that I had a whole jar of pickled herring giving to me at Christmas that I didn't have to share. So that's a very wonderful memory for me, Mel.
All right. So outhouse and share. Is that where the term going Dutch comes from?
No, the Dutch is because you can be very stingy with your money, and there's a whole thing that a lot of Dutch. Now, remember, I only said I'm 25%.
Very good. Ada Johnson had a comment that put up a moment ago, said that loved your enthusiasm. Of course, remember in the opening, I said fun and energetic. Enthusiasm is a better way of saying it.
Yeah. Well, and then what got me to be Santa, I think just like the majority of us, my first Santa appearance years and years and years ago, when I've always had a cookie zone. I never called it a cookie zone until, after being with Santas for a while, kind of thing. But it was just, hey, we need a Santa at the daycare. Will you be, well, I don't have a suit. Well, can you give me a suit? Yes, if you can get me a suit, I will be your Santa. So I literally had years of what I call weekend warrior work, where I would come in, they would rent me a suit, and I was Santa, and I had it for the weekend. And it was like, well, if you're going to have a free suit for the weekend, then you call all your friends up going, I've got a Santa suit. Do you want me to come? And so you would make all these little appearances, in your suit. And I did that for years until I got to the end, getting closer to retiring. And I really started seeking God and going, God, what do you want? What can all of the skills that I've, as a computer teacher, and things that I've done every day with children, what do you want me to be? And I had a dream. I literally went to bed and I saw myself dressed as Santa, and I was in a hospital, and I was leaning over the bed of the child, and I just grabbed her hand and said, Santa's here. It's okay. And I woke up. That was it. But I took that as a very providential thing that I was supposed to be Santa. So I literally prayed and said, God, if that's the case, I'm willing to do hard visits. So literally my first Santa professional visit was with a 5-year-old who had a brain tumor. And I came in as Santa for this little girl's birthday party in the middle of summer. And it was just such a magical moment to literally walk into the gate as a professional Santa, coming into a really hard moment. But I also, I know sign language. So because of her being 5 and she had a trach because of the tumor and stuff, she was learning ASL. And so then other kids were coming to the party who were deaf. So literally, so you see a kid with a trach, and not the trach, but the intermastoid cavity, I could see the cochlear implant. So I knew she was deaf. So literally, without her saying a word, walks into the room. I went, hello, Santa's here. Oh, I'm just so happy to see you. How are you doing? And the little kid just froze, and a tear came in her eye. She looked at her mom, and she goes, Santa's talking to me. And she ran in my arms. That was it. That's all I said to her. How are you doing? I'm so glad you're here. Right. And she hugged me and would not let go of me. And I thought, wow, I don't know if this child ever had a Santa initiate a conversation with her like that. And, at least in my head, I was the real one, because I could talk with her. So I'm always willing to embrace hard visits, just because it's back to presenting and serving and listening and caring.
Your brother up there in Maps is very, very sweet and heartwarming.
So that's how that's coming into the gate, you know what I mean? So that's how that all happened and started. And then just been working on it for years as I keep pushing forward. Oh, my favorite
What
Christmas
your favorite
movie.
Christmas movie is.
Well, you know what? I love Miracle on 34th Street, and I love the original, but I tell you what, the scene in the remake that they go jingle bells, jingle bell. Oh my, what a wonderful scene with that sign language and because of ASL, that's yeah. But you know what? Yeah, so that I would, if I have to pick one, that at least will be in the top three, you know. So
Well, Michael, stay with us. Before we close out the show, we do a segment called Santa's Point of View. We use this time to give out a teaching tip from our past experiences. And would you do us the pleasure tonight of doing our Santa's Point of View?
oh, definitely. Thank you. It's
Now finish your thought there. Sorry.
Are you ready for me to share? Well, that music got me. I was back here in the back just grooving with it. All of a sudden, like, oh, I'm on. I want you to know something. You are phenomenal. You know what? There's something about a Santa and a Mrs. Claus heart that's magical. Just making the choice of going, I want to be a Christmas presenter. I want to share the magic of Christmas. I want you to know how wonderful you are. I want you to embrace that gift and keep learning and keep honing and realizing find a group to be with because you are better together. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your brain and your heart are phenomenal. Just keep pressing in and learning from the community around you. And you know what? I just when I think about that, I just see so many children's lives blessed and being able to speak and realizing that 60 to that 90 seconds, be patient and keep speaking that positive word because you know what, you can't be a Santa without having magic in your heart, and so it's there. Just let it keep growing and being phenomenally wonderfully, be all that you are and be who you can be because of him.
Great point.
Great tip. All right. Invite everyone to share and invite your friends to our weekly Tuesday night live broadcast, as well as our Bob and Barry live preview show we have on Mondays at 3 p.m., as well as both of our Facebook groups. You can find us at Santa in the Business of Being Santa and Sat Bob's Live. Thank you so much, Michael.
Oh, Barry and Bob, thanks so much for having me come. I appreciate it. And you know, I just love your work. I love what you guys are doing and your hearts and to share and how you literally are making us better together. And thank you for your time and your energy. I appreciate the privilege to to join with you and being a part with you.
Wow. Michael, my friend, you are a special man, a special Santa, and a special child of Christ. And we absolutely love you, love
Amen.
everything about you, love the maps. Thank you so much for the good words. What an incredible guest, fun. Gosh, I think I've learned as much as more than I thought I would going into this. Let's put it that way. You're just so full of everything wonderful. Just love it. And we want to thank all of our sponsors and thank you, our viewers. This show would not be what it is without our guests and those of you who watch each week. You guys are the one that makes it really special. Remember, you can catch a recorded replay of this and every Tuesday night live show on our home group, Santa and the Business of Being Santa, which is now recorded over there, and the Sat Bob's Live group. All right, guys. What a show. Boy, like I said, I'm like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. My head is spinning. You got me thinking I probably won't sleep tonight.
Well, get some warm milk and a cookie. That'll help you fall asleep, Bob.
Or maybe a warm glass of milk. Yeah. All right, so remember to watch our next Tuesday Night Live show each week, 7 p.m., same Claus time, same Claus channel. Michael, again, thank you, brother, so much. Barry, thank you. Angela, thank you for all you do behind the scenes. Thank you to everyone out there. Derek Dugan, Spangle the Clown. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Until next week, thank you so much, and God bless.
Blessings, everyone. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you all for being
Christmas.
with us. And remember, we do this, be claws, we care. Good night.